Alright, so this is going to be an update video on the Bronco. I did replace one of the front seat covers the other day, and I thought I might do a video on how to replace the second one so I don't look like an idiot, because it took me a long time to do the first one. So I got my seat covers ordered, and I can't remember where. I think, Tom's Bronco. Got them Tom's Bronco. I've used Tom's and Wild Horses and CJ Pony Parts is where I've ordered most of my parts for. So I got started on this without starting the camera. So, but all I did was take off the little plastic covers that are on the little hinge things, which I think is 3 screws, and I'm going to try to keep up with those. So this is the front driver's seat. They are kind of heavy and cumbersome. So I took plastic covers off, and then I did get the screw out for this thing, the lever for the seat tilt, you know. So I'm gonna put that off to the side. And then it's got some small pins right here. It's got some small pins right here that these hinges fit onto, which it's, the pin's actually missing. So now I have to pry this off, and then the seat back will come off, and it'll make it easier for me to work on. So I'm going to see if I can get that thing off. So basically I need something to pry with. So that is the hinge. That made it a lot easier than the first one. The first one I just pulled off with, I pulled off by hand. This one, I used the crowbar. Alright, so that right there is pretty nasty. And it also does not have the pin in it. So I should be able to somewhat slide it off of there. Alright, so that gets us top and bottom. Alright, so I'm going to set this to the side. And then we've got the seat back, which is on there with some little spring clips. These are the original seat backs, and I may paint these. I may paint these and just put them back on. As you can see, there's a bunch of crap in here. So it goes on with these little push pin, spring push pin things. So I don't want to lose those. Put that. So I mean, I think it was originally that color, but then somebody changed it to green. So basically, it's all held on with these hog rings. So you can see these hog rings right here, here, here. Basically, I'm just going to take some pliers and I'm just going to cut all these and get them all off. So I'll cut all these, and then we'll come back on from there.
All right, so I got most all of them cut. And I'm basically using the vice grips to do all my twisting and getting them off.
Alright, so I think I got all of the hog rings off. Now we're going to see if we can pull this nasty thing off. Now you're not going to be able to get it off. I mean, if it was done right, you're not going to be able to get it off all the way, because this seam right here that runs all the way around does the same thing in the bottom of the seat. And I mean, you'll see when we get to it, but there's a metal rod that is in this hem. And that metal rod is also attached to the back springs of the seat, which is going to keep this thing from coming off, you know. So I'll have to pull all this off as best I can, basically, you know, turned inside out. And then I'll be able to locate all of the hog rings on the inside. So I'm reaching my hand in here and I'm pulling on this wire that's inside this hem right here, so that I can find out where my first hog ring might be, and it's up high. Yeah, I see it. All right, so the first hog ring is right there. So I'm gonna pop it, and it's just attached to these S-springs on the back of the seat. And it may be a good idea to make sure your tetanus shots are up to date. And that's some padding somebody else added. This little piece of padding comes off. I think they call it a crash pad. It goes right at the back of the seat, so that you know, if you're in an accident, your back seat passengers would have a place for their head to hit. There's not a whole lot of soft stuff in these old trucks. All right, so now I've got it pretty much revealed now, because I can see everything. So I'm gonna go through here and cut these. Okay, so I got the whole thing off, and you can see this. There is a wire inside here that that's what I was trying to free up. And here is the foam. Now the foam is also held to the seat with more of these hog rings. There's one right there, you know, right there. So now I'll go through and cut all those hog rings and remove the foam. So I took a break from doing the seats. I didn't mean to, but I had some other stuff that had to get done. I think it's been a week or so since I worked on the seats. So this is the seam, or this indentation is where this right here goes. It's going to go down in that indentation. And then the instructions, and it worked fine on the other seat. I'm gonna turn this inside out. So this is the hem that the wire is going to go through, that kind of pulls this seam into this indentation. So you're supposed to put this wire in there, and then, I know it doesn't make sense, but you hog ring the wire to the seat back. You marry these two together first. And it'll make sense after I do it, but after you marry these two together, you've got that hog ring sticking, that you can see on this side of the seat cushion. And then I will hog ring to that hog ring with that wire that's on the back of this seat. This will make sense more as I do it. So I'm gonna make a new seat wire, whatever you call it, seat back wire for mine with this high tensile wire, and it worked good on the other seat. It's a little bit bigger than what came out, I think. The other may have rusted so much that it was smaller, but anyway, this is what I'm gonna use for mine. And I've got plenty of this, so I'm gonna cut it a little bit long. I'm gonna take that, and to be able to feed it into this hem, because it's got a sharp edge on it, I'm just gonna bend the very end. So it'll have a smooth tip that I'm gonna try to work through. You gotta be, this stuff is so springy, you really have to be careful with your eyes, but there's a little bitty, just to blunted the end up. So now I'm gonna kind of straighten it out somewhat. And then I'm going to somewhat try to match the back of that seat. All right, so I don't know if you can see that, but that's roughly the shape of the back of the seat. So then I'm going to feed this through the hem. So I got it started in there. So you can see by rounding off that edge, you know, it's feeding pretty easy. I think it's easier to pull than to push. So I can see my two angles in there, and it just dropped into place right there. Okay, so now my seat wire is in there. Now, of course, like I said, they're too long. I'm going to cut those off. And then we're going to mate these two up. You know, that wire is going to go in this dent right here. The first one. All right, so that's clipped on. There's the hog ring from the back right there. It doesn't take that many. I'm gonna put like 3 across the top and, you know, another 2 going down through here. So now those hog rings I'm gonna attach to this paper covered wire on the seat back, which also corresponds to that same seam that we have the wire in. And then I'm going to attach hog ring to hog ring, because I can see those hog rings. And that's what will hold it on the seat back. Alright, after all that wrestling, I finally got it connected to the seat. So now I'll start pulling this stuff back over, making sure everything is where it's supposed to be. That's the hardest part of it, is getting those hog rings hooked back up. But now that it's all hooked back up, we can start. So I'm gonna put this crash pad back on the top right here. It goes about like that, and then I'm gonna start wrapping this stuff back over. It may be easier to put the crash pad on after I get some of it pulled off. It's hard to work with stuff that's white when you're dealing with rust. Basically, I'm gonna pull tight and hog ring to these holes that are already in the back of the steel frame. And I'm not sure which one you're supposed to start off with first. So I'm not really worried about that part, I don't guess. Alright, so there we got the finished seat. Now I gotta put the back on it. The bottom is really no different. You know, you put the bottom on it. I'll go ahead and do that and show you putting it back together and reinstalling the seat. Nothing really exciting about it, but anyway. That's one seat back installed. I still got a little manipulating to do with some of the foam. There you go. All right, so we had yet another wardrobe change. This is the next day. It's all finished up and ready to mount back up. Now they did come with these seat backs, you know, which of course are of the same vinyl, but they're on cardboard, which I didn't, it just doesn't seem like it's gonna work. So these are the original seat backs, and what I'm gonna do is go get some plastic paint and just paint my original seat backs, because these are plastic and they're sturdy, and if they were if they did get wet, they wouldn't, you know, do what cardboard does when it gets wet. So that's both seats done. I still got to paint the little hinge covers. You know, since I'm gonna paint the back thing too, the little hinge covers that go on the side, I'll repaint those, and then we'll put them back in. So I guess the next time you see these will be installed back in their rightful home. Now I'm finished with the upholstery, and what else did I do? Oh, so I put the seats back in. I ended up using the original seat backs. They're scratched up and everything, but I found some paint that was pretty close to the right color. I put the 3-point harnesses in. It ended out that it worked out pretty good that the right height for me. I was able to hide my nuts inside the I was able to hide the nuts inside that tube of the roll bar, and that just slides in there. So I also added the fire extinguisher, and the seats turned out good. I got the door panels in. I'm not positive that's going to be the color I go with, but I think it is. I still have to do some painting on the inside, but the seats went in. They feel great, look good, work as they should. Not a hard job. Harder to keep clean, but not a hard job. So next I'll move on to painting the doors, dash, finish the windshield frame, the windshield frame, doors and everything. The door jambs, they'll all be blue just like the outside, and the dash will be the same cream color. I've still got to, I'm gonna do a total rebuild of the back seat to try to incorporate some seat belts that are a better design than the original. The seat goes in those 4 holes right there. And try to design some seat belts that are a better design than the original. The original, if they fell off the seat, then they just rattled around on the floor. So I think I'm gonna try to figure out a way to use these stubs like that was sent with the 3 points in the rear. I don't know if I'm gonna do lap or shoulder in the back yet. I hadn't figured that out. And what else was I gonna do? Oh, I may paint the roll bar. I've had some suggestions to paint the roll bar the same light color as the seat. So, you know, maybe y'all can help with that. Is that something I should just... I didn't want it to be black because it's so dead blame hot in the summertime. I mean, you reach up there, or somebody reaches in there to get in, and that thing will burn you, you know. But I don't know, white may look good, so maybe in the comments below y'all can voice your opinions. But anyway, just a little Bronco update, and we'll do it again sometime. So if you want to keep following, please like and subscribe. And we hadn't posted in a little while because we've been so busy. My son's moving out of town, so we're headed to Dallas tomorrow to take his stuff over there. The truck's loaded up. But now that it's fall and we're able to get out and do more outside, like Bronco stuff and more camping and whatnot, there'll be more to come. So see y'all in the next video. Thanks, bye.